Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 368 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about the shocking trade that sends Rafael Devers from the Boston Red Sox to the San Francisco Giants. Sunday, we all thought was a big day for the Boston Red Sox because they swept their arch rivals, the New York Yankees. Instead, the biggest thing they did was trade away all-star Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants for a package that includes pitchers Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, Jose Bayo, and outfielder James Tibbs. On this podcast about a month ago, I talked about Devers being unwilling to change positions, even with the Red Sox dealing with injuries to both their third baseman and first baseman. I don't really want to rehash all that, but I will say that's what this trade feels like it's all about, and it's weird because it's a team mad at someone for not wanting to play defense who is by all standards not good at defense. There's real irony there. Like, I never thought the Boston Red Sox would trade away Rafael Devers because they want him to play on the field. One of my initial thoughts about this trade is, what does it mean for third baseman Alex Bregman's long-term future with the Boston Red Sox? Because I can't imagine after trading away Devers, you're not going to go all in on signing Bregman long term. If neither is on this team next year, that's unforgivable. Bregman was having a great start with the Red Sox before his injury. I bet on my life he opts out of this current deal, especially now when he holds all the cards. The Red Sox have no other answers long-term at third base. Now with the Red Sox, it's all about the young core. Devers was the last remnant of the 2018 Boston Red Sox, who won the most regular season wins in franchise history and took home a World Series trophy. All eyes are now on Roman Anthony, Kristen Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer. I really did believe a month ago and said so on this podcast that I did not believe Rafael Devers had a long-term future with the Boston Red Sox. He was never going to be their DH for the next 9 years. That was never going to happen. I just thought, though, they were going to hold this off until the off season. The timing of it is a bit off because right now he is far and away the best hitter on the team. And you're just now building momentum towards something that could be halfway decent. What's so odd about this Rafael Devers arc with the Boston Red Sox this year is that every time it feels like we're all done with it, something happens. Oh, he's finally accepted to play DH. Then there are injuries and they kindly ask him to play another position or his original position, and he doesn't want to. Then all of the talk about that goes away and the team starts to win and they start to look like a real baseball team. Everything's finally coming together, and then you make this massive trade, which is clearly more about the long-term future of the Boston Red Sox than it is about this current moment. I mean, let's be honest here for a minute. I did not believe the Red Sox were going to make the playoffs, even with Rafael Devers, but they had a chance. I mean, they could go on a run. I don't think the American League is all that great. I mean, the team that might be the best is the New York Yankees, and you just swept them. It's always a necessity for a good baseball team to have proven commodities. Like, you can look at a player and go, I know what this guy is. And what I know is Rafael Devers is 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. You can pencil him in for that number. He was going to reach those numbers this season with the Boston Red Sox. I think it's worth noting that the Boston Red Sox have a history of awkwardly moving on from star players. They famously traded away star shortstop Nomar Garciaparra during the 2004 season, which ended up with the team winning a World Series title. The difference, of course, is being Nomar was in a contract dispute with the organization situation, while Rafael Devers had already gotten a massive contract from the Red Sox. Another key difference in the situation is, I believe anyway, that Red Sox fans were fed up with Nomar. Like, they were on the team's side with that trade. They were all in with the Red Sox. Things were going good. They were tired of this guy who looked unhappy to be a member of the team. That was not the case with Devers. I believe most Red Sox fans are on the side of Rafael Devers. Yes, sure, there's the occasional fan who is upset by the fact that he doesn't want to play first base. But most Red Sox fans are overlooking that fact and saying, this is one of the premier bats in all of baseball. I want him on my team. Most fans are on the side of Devers, but that of course could change if the team keeps winning. I want to put it on the record that I do not agree with this trade right now. Like, I do agree that long term, Devers was never going to be your designated hitter for the next 9 years. But the Red Sox were in this weird place of not committing to one thing. I mean, on one hand, they brought in these veterans, the Alex Bregmans, the Walker Buehlers, they have the Trevor Storys, they had the Devers, but then they have this young nucleus of really talented players. I'm talking about the Ceddanne Rafaelas, the Wilyer Abreus, the Jarren Durans even, and those top 3 prospects I was talking about earlier. This feels like the Red Sox at the very least are committing to something long term, and they said to themselves, this guy, Rafael Devers, is not going to be a part of our long-term future. Let's rip the Band-Aid and trade him right now. They are not overreacting to a moment. They're not saying just because we're on a winning streak, our opinions about this guy is changing whatsoever. And I kind of appreciate that fact that they are looking at the long term. They know in the moment this isn't going to look good for most Red Sox fans, but they can win them back if they have a long-term plan. And if the long-term plan is to build around this young core, it sounds pretty good to me. Over the last few years, it just feels like the Red Sox were non-committal to anything. They weren't committing to the young players. They weren't committing to veterans. Now they are going all in on this young roster that might not be ready to win right now, but in 2 to 3 years, who knows? And clearly, they believe in them. That's the positive way to look at this trade. I mean, the negative side of things as you go, is this all just because the general manager had a gripe with a star player? I mean, that's the absolute worst if that's what this is all about. I can get on board with what I was talking about. You believe in this young roster. You don't think Rafael Devers is going to be a part of your winning future. I'm all in on that if that's what you believe. But if this is really just because he wasn't willing to play first or third base, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe next time don't wait 8 years to tell a guy he's not a very good defensive third baseman. The other odd thing about this trade is, by all reports, the Red Sox were not shopping Rafael Devers. They just immediately made a deal with the San Francisco Giants. They didn't go to other teams to see what else is out there. They did not want to publicly shop around Rafael Devers. That tells me they wanted this move done immediately and no talks surrounding it. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's like when the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic. I mean, that just came out of nowhere. It was unexpected. We didn't even know the Dallas Mavericks wanted to move on from Luka Doncic. Now, this situation is a little bit different because the writing was on the wall between the relationship of this player and this team, but it's still wild to trade Rafael Devers away before July to see what your team would be by the All-Star break. I mean, if the Red Sox are still a 500 team by the All-Star break, I mean, what was the rush here? Why did you need to make this move right now? And logically, you could say because they want to play the young guys and they also want to keep Wilyer Abreu in the lineup along with Alex Bregman, who's coming back from injury, and that makes sense. What doesn't make sense, though, is the idea that the guy you need to get rid of is your best offensive player by a mile. I, of course, want to talk about what this all means for the San Francisco Giants. Buster Posey, the new president of the team, spent money this offseason bringing in Willy Adames, a shortstop, and now they land a slugger, the caliber of which they haven't had in forever, and it's not from from lack of trying. They went after Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa. Judge went back to the Yankees, and the team backed out of their deal with Correa due to health concerns. Yes, I believe the Giants wanted the bat, but what they also wanted was the star power of Rafael Devers. Now, how big of a star is Rafael Devers? I don't really know the answer to that. I'm a fan of the Boston Red Sox. I don't know how nationally people feel about Rafael Devers. Like, does he get butts in seats? I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is he is a proven star. The San Francisco Giants are attempting to keep pace with the LA Dodgers. This is a stat I like to talk about a lot. The Giants have not had a player hit at least 30 home runs in a season since Barry Bonds in 2004 hit 45 home runs. That's over 2 decades. Even bad baseball teams have a player or two hit 30 home runs in a single season. And a lot of that has to do with their ballpark, Oracle Park, which has a crazy deep outfield. Center field there basically turns home runs into triples. I'm beyond fascinated to see if Rafael Devers remains the slugger he's always been. In the moment, the consensus on this trade is the Giants hit this out of the park. I mean, out of nowhere, they get Rafael Devers, who nobody knew was available in the first place. But I am hopeful that this is a trade that can work out for both sides. I mean, we like to see it, don't we? I want trades to work out for both teams mostly, and I know it usually doesn't happen, but this is a need that the Giants had to fill. They needed a star who could put up big power numbers, and maybe it didn't need to happen right now, but the Red Sox had to start thinking about a future without Rafael Devers in it. I can fully understand a Red Sox fan being upset with the timing of this trade. I mean, we just swept the New York Yankees. We feel like we're back in the mix for something. Maybe it's not a playoff spot, but maybe it's being an above 500 team. And then you go and trade away our best hitter, but I can't for the life of me understand anyone who thinks Rafael Devers was going to be on the Red Sox next season. That a 28-year-old was just going to accept his fate as a forever designated hitter. That was never going to happen, and you know it deep down. And getting back to the Giants, it makes all the sense in the world that they made a trade like this because they couldn't convince free agents to go there other than the Willy Adameses of the world, who are very good players, but they had to overpay to get him. This is a star that they needed. I would say he's the biggest star on the team since Buster Posey. You can have all the talk you want about whether or not Devers is going to end up playing first base with the San Francisco Giants. I don't think they could care less. I don't think he cares. I just think he now wants to put up huge numbers to prove the Red Sox wrong. The Giants have Gold Glover Matt Chapman at third base, so Devers is not going to play that position. I do believe most likely he's going to play some first base and see how it all plays out, and then maybe he'll land there long term. I believe this is very good for Rafael Devers because he is immediately entering a team that is going to treat him like a massive star. I think the problem with the Red Sox is they started to treat him like he was just another guy, and clearly he wasn't having any of that. I think for a time period, he enjoyed being the face of the Boston Red Sox, the guy who we go, well, the team is very bad, but this guy is lighting the world on fire. And then when the team pointed at him and said, well, actually, you're part of the problem, maybe not the solution, he started to get agitated. There are Red Sox fans who are going to compare this to when the Red Sox traded away Mookie Betts. That's just an entirely different situation. Again, that was a contract dispute with a player. That has more similarities to me with the Nomar situation. This is like, we know you're really good, but you're getting on our nerves. Go away. The only comparison I can make is I think in both cases, the general manager was not afraid of letting go of the player. Like, I think Chaim Bloom had no emotional attachment attachments to Mookie Betts as a player, and the same goes for Craig Breslow. Clearly, Breslow was annoyed by Rafael Devers, but I also think he looked at him and said, this is not one of my guys. This is not who I want to be on the team long term. Whether that's right or not, we're going to find out. Because like it or not, Craig Breslow just put a lot of pressure on himself to build a winner in Boston, because there's no more we're waiting for the young guys to come up. They're here. You traded away Devers. We're hopeful that you have a plan, but we need to see the plan before we get on board. You have Garrett Crochet. You have made some nice moves. This is the one, though, that raises our eyebrows a bit, because we're all left wondering, is this a baseball decision or is this an emotional decision because you weren't getting along with this guy? And look, this trade is still fresh and new, so we really don't know if Rafael Devers demanded out of Boston. If that's the case, I can feel differently about it. But if it's just because Breslow wanted him gone, that's a tough pill to swallow. An executive rejecting a star player when he doesn't in the moment have better options. Now the big question for the Red Sox is, what are they going to do at the trade deadline? Are they going to be buyers or sellers? I mean, what do they really need? They need more starting pitching. But based on this trade, I don't believe they're going to go all out to save this one singular season. I think they're looking at it and saying next year is our year, which is not something Red Sox fans want to hear about, especially on a day where they swept the New York Yankees. Part of me has to wonder if the fact that the Giants were the team the Red Sox agreed with was because the Giants were willing to take on all of Rafael Devers' money, and there are very few teams out there that were probably willing to do so. I mean, right now, I don't think the Dodgers were going all in on Rafael Devers. I don't think the Mets were going to trade for Rafael Devers. The Giants are the team that made the most sense. They needed the bat more than any other team because they are right now competing. They're, unlike the Red Sox, in a playoff chase. I mean, the Red Sox, for as good as they played over the last few days, are not competing for a division title. The Giants are neck and neck with the Dodgers. I mean, if you're looking at this trade from a vacuum, who do you think is going to be better for the rest of the season? The Boston Red Sox or the San Francisco Giants? I'm going to say the Giants because they are taking advantage of a moment. I mean, the Arizona Diamondbacks just lost Corbin Burns. They have a real chance to be better than the Dodgers and the Padres, for that matter. Buster Posey, as a first-year executive, is out here making big moves. So in the end, Giants fans are beyond happy because their team is trying to win right now, and the Red Sox fans are confused because you're finally starting to win and you move on from arguably your best overall player. This trade is the absolute last thing I thought was going to happen on this Sunday. I did not see this coming. I thought Devers was going to quietly get traded in the offseason, that the Red Sox would have a down year and then move on from Devers and say, look, we're not even good with this guy, but trading him away during a good time is kind of wild. And as always, it's really hard to know how you're supposed to feel about the current state of the Boston Red Sox. If Devers was having a down year offensively, this would make way more sense for Red Sox fans that the Giants were taking him away at a moment of weakness. But he hit a home run today in his last game as a member of the Red Sox. He's a World Series champ. He's 10th all-time in home runs in franchise history. And as of right now, I cannot see a world where the Red Sox make the playoffs without Rafael Devers. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline. Maybe they were just annoyed with this one player. But my viewpoint is they no longer are all in on this season, and they're thinking about the future and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not the thing you want them to be in on, but it is what it is, and the fractured relationship between the player and the team played a huge hand in all of this. We can do all the second guessing we want, like why weren't the Red Sox more open with Devers about the possibility of bringing in Alex Bregman? I don't know the answer to that. What I now believe is that Craig Breslow had zero interest in Rafael Devers being part of the long-term plans for the Boston Red Sox, that he always thought that this was probably going to be the final year for Devers on the Red Sox and that he was going to trade him away during the offseason. Now, I don't think he was going to trade him June 15th. I don't think that was the plan all along, but I do believe even before all of the controversies, Craig Breslow was thinking about life without Rafael Devers. This is a rare situation in sports where I am rooting for both sides. I hope that Rafael Devers continues to put up impressive offensive numbers with his new team, the Giants, and I also hope the Red Sox are a contending team in the coming years and that they don't ultimately regret this trade the way that they regret the Mookie Betts trade. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.